This is the Relic Radio Show, old-time radio entertainment still standing the test of time, from relicradio.com.
You're listening to the 0 Hour. Rest your eyes. Exercise your imagination. Today, Glenn Hall Taylor's drama of deception and death. The Villainous Verdict. Starring Dick Sargent. In a Mutual Broadcasting System presentation of the 0 Hour.
Brought to you by Dial Soap, Monroe Shock Absorbers, Camphofonique, the makers of Kodak cameras, and Breck Shampoo. This is the 0 Hour on Mutual Radio.
Take your picture. Let me take your picture.
I'm going to take your picture.
What are you going to take my picture with? I have a camera.
Kodak Pocket Instamatic camera right here.
I have a Kodak Pocket Instamatic camera right here, and I carry it with me all the time.
I have a way to do this now.
Oh, really?
Are you ready for this? I challenge you to a duel.
A duel?
Yes.
What are you talking about?
Kodak Pocket Instamatic cameras at 5 paces.
10 paces.
5 paces.
Are you tired? That's hardly even time to get warmed up.
Oh, you're scared. I can see your hand shaking.
Yeah, your head is shaking.
All right, I'm going to count
You
off.
count.
Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What's the matter?
You win.
How come? You shot first.
I shot my foot.
I'll take 5 prints.
The Kodak Pocket Instamatic camera. You can get big, sharp, clear pictures from the camera that slips into your pocket. You'll never have to leave it behind. The Kodak Pocket Instamatic camera.
Wait, I want a rematch.
Of a duel? Forget it.
Come on. I'll shoot your good side, all right? Let's go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Ha! Gotcha!
Hey, you shot me in the back.
That's right. That's your good side.
A jury has spent many hours deciding the fate of an accused man. In a hot, stuffy courtroom, the spectators, the attorneys for the defense, and the prosecution await the verdict. A side door is opened, and the jury returns to the box. The air is tense as the clerk calls upon the foreman of the jury to rise. Intoning with an indifference born of rote, he asks, "How say you? Do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty?"
"We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty."
I'm Milton Dresden. I'm a district attorney of a sizable city like many you know of. My office had spent months building up a case against a known criminal, and we thought that getting conviction would be as routine as Hank Aaron hitting a homer. But Hank probably has his bad days, and we'd had ours. The morning after the jury acquitted Brad Butler, my assistant, Rick Bundy, did exactly what I figured he'd do.
Chief, did you see the paper this morning?
I sure did. We got clobbered, didn't we?
Look at that picture right on the front page. It's disgusting. A 10-year-old kid would have convicted Brad Butler on that evidence.
Unfortunately, 10-year-old kids aren't eligible for jury duty.
Yeah, one good thing, Chief. Even though the editorial blasted the verdict, they emphasized that it wasn't your fault.
That gives me some comfort, but little satisfaction.
I'm telling you these things.
Don't worry, we'll be most discreet.
Well, first of all, in the beginning, most of us in the jury believed Butler was guilty of the murder, but there was one man who insisted he wasn't and really threw his weight around.
Who was that?
The foreman, Mr. Walter Vernon. He never gave us sound reasons, just kept insisting Butler wasn't guilty.
You mean he leaned on the others enough so that they changed their votes?
Hour after hour, he argued until we were just about worn out from listening to him. The first change came when the jury was taken out to lunch. The men who had been seated on either side of Mr. Vernon changed their votes. At lunch the next day, he sat between two other jurors
And they changed their votes?
Yes.
Did they give any reason for the change?
Not real reasons. They just hemmed and hawed some, but finally, the only two holdouts for a guilty verdict were one other juror and me.
And then he leaned on you two?
At dinner, Mr. Vernon sat with a man who was siding with me, and...
And he changed?
Yes.
So, after dinner, you were the lone holdout?
Mm-hmm. And I was determined to stand my ground when I got this message from an attendant.
Message?
Yes, about my son. He's in the Army. The message said he'd be in town on a final furlough before being shipped over to West Germany. Well, naturally, I wanted to see him, so I went along with the others.
That's understandable.
But the message was a fake.
A fake?
My son called me this morning from camp. He knew nothing about the message. That's why I decided you should know about it.
I'm very glad you did, Mrs. Golden.
Do you think the foreman had anything to do with the phony message?
I have no way of knowing. I just think it's strange.
And I agree. Rick, find this Vernon character and bring him in for questioning.
My pleasure, Chief. Believe me.
Well, Rick Bundy got Vernon into my office, and the ex-foreman of the jury acted just about as I figured he would.
Well, I hope this won't take long, Mr. Dresden. I've got a very busy schedule, and most of the pressure I'm under was built up because of 30 days I spent on the jury duties. My desk is swamped.
I understand. And I appreciate your coming down here, because this matter is of tremendous importance. It has to do with the verdict reached by the jury yesterday.
Yes?
We have a statement from a member of that jury to the effect that you seem to have exerted pressure upon certain jurors.
Pressure?
So that under the influence of that pressure, they changed their views on the case.
That's ridiculous.
You deny the charge?
Categorically. I think I see what you're trying to do. Now that you've lost the case, you're looking for a reason to justify it.
Just a minute, Mr. Vernon. You
It's
can't...
okay, Rick. Mr. Vernon is entitled to express his opinion. And you're also entitled to know, Mr. Vernon, that I intend to investigate this charge thoroughly. So please remain available for further questioning.
Come in. Vernon, what the hell are you doing here? I told you never to come to my office. I suppose you were followed.
I'm sorry, Mr. Reno, but I had to see you, and I didn't dare talk over the phone.
All right. What's up?
I just came from the DA's office. One of the jurors has charged that I was responsible for the acquittal of Brad Butler. The DA's going to investigate.
All right, now relax. They can't prove nothing.
Well, I have a hunch they're really going to go after this one. And if the DA should find out about you being on it,
I'm not in on it.
Look, even though I did the actual pressuring, you were the one in back of it. Now, I demand the same protection you gave to Butler.
Who is it?
It's me, Brad Butler.
All right, come on in. Hey, close the door. Yeah, timing is great. You remember Mr. Vernon?
Yeah. Hi, Vernon. You did a good job on the jury.
Too good. We've got a problem.
The DA smells a fix. He's starting an investigation. If he finds out what he's looking for, it means a new trial. Our friend Vernon here might do an El Foldo if the heat gets too strong.
So, what do we do about it?
Well, remember that favor you owe me?
Yeah, I remember.
Mr. Reno, you got to do something to keep them from getting to me. I'm worried.
Oh, now, don't worry. Butler here owes me a favor. He'll keep the DA and his men from getting to you. And he'll take care of your worries, too.
How?
It's very easy.
You don't kid around, do you, Brad?
Not when I owe somebody. I like to get out of debt fast.
Well, you paid in full. Now get him out of here.
It happens so slowly you hardly notice it. Your 2-year-old car begins to drift, sway, and roll. And it's like driving at sea. A set of Monroe-Matic shock absorbers can help put you back on solid ground, because the better the shock absorbers, the better your control. And Monroe-Matic shocks adjust automatically to give you solid, automatic ride control. See your Monroe dealer.
Monroe Automatic Ride Control between you and the road.
No pain's a little one when it happens to your child. Campho-Phenique instantly stops pain of minor cuts, scrapes, or burns.
What about infection?
Campho-Phenique gently penetrates skin injuries to kill germs that can cause infection, so injuries can heal nature's way.
Janie, feel better now?
It stopped hurting, Mommy.
For minor cuts, scrapes, burns, Camphofenique, the penetrating first aid medication, stops pain instantly, helps prevent infection. Camphofenique.
The killing of Mr. Vernon was something we hadn't anticipated. Finding his body in Fairview Park gave a tremendous setback to any chance we might have had to prove that Brad Butler's acquittal was fixed. However, we managed to interview 3 more jurors, and they expressed a willingness to repeat their testimony in court. I mentioned this to my assistant, Rick Bundy.
One thing puzzles me.
What's that, Rick?
These jurors said they'd been intimidated by threats to reveal damaging facts from their pasts. Now, how did Vernon find out about these things?
My theory is that he didn't. I think the information was passed on to him by somebody else.
You think he was acting as a stooge for Butler?
I don't think Butler has the brains for it. Now, we know that Butler's a professional killer. As such, he's hired by someone. And I think whoever hired him is the one who dug up the dirt on the jurors. Milton Dresden speaking. Yes. Oh, that's a damn shame. Yes, thanks. Bye.
What's up?
Earlier, when the police reported the killing of Vernon, they also found the body of a cop a few feet away. He had 2 bullets in his chest. That phone call just now reported that he died a half hour ago.
Okay, Brad, why is it so important to see me right now?
As far as I'm concerned, the stuff hit the fan.
Oh, what are you talking about? What do you mean?
Well, I took Vernon's body out to dump it last night like we planned, and I brought him to the park like you said.
Yeah?
Well, just as I'm lifting this big hunk of meat out of the car and dragging it over to the hole I dug to plant him in, a cop comes out of nowhere. He starts with that "what's going on here" crap, so I don't take no chances. I let him have it.
Why, you big jerk, you might as well have put a contract on yourself. The DA will turn the whole force loose to find a cop killer.
That don't shake me none.
Well, it shakes me. Now, I got a piece of this, too. Now, you get your stupid face out of sight and play Mickey Mole. Dig a hole and go underground.
We did a lot of questioning, not only of the jurors, but of people who had been intimately acquainted with Vernon. Now, I couldn't put my finger on any one thing, but I got the definite impression that Vernon had been acting for someone else. My assistant, Rick, was hot on it. He did a lot of good legwork, then reported...
I think I found something, Chief.
Good.
I checked into Vernon's business affairs pretty thoroughly. He's been having some problems.
Like what?
He's involved in several small enterprises. All were heavily mortgaged. One single mortgage held by, guess who? Bill Reno.
How did Vernon get mixed up with that scum?
Reno's got dough in a lot of legitimate businesses. You know that.
Yeah, and don't tell me. Just before the trial, the mortgage was canceled.
You called off is probably more accurate. There's no record of Vernon having paid them.
It sounds like you had a busy day.
Busy enough. By the way, have you gotten the lab report on those clues the police picked up in connection with the cop killing?
We've got the ballistic report on the 2 slugs that were in the officer's body, but of course we don't have any weapon to connect them with. All we're sure of right now is that they're .38s, and from the same gun that killed Vernon.
How about the tire tread marks near the body?
And the plaster cast came out clear, but nobody's had anything to compare them with. I think that for now we'll stick with the mortgage clue.
Oh, what's our next ploy then?
I'm going to pay Bill Reno a visit.
Well, Mr. Dresden, you know I'm quite impressed. After all, a district attorney doesn't call at my office every day. What's on your mind?
Murder.
Murder? Anyone in particular?
Yeah, Walter Vernon.
Walter Vernon? Should I know?
I think so. You did business with him.
I did? Oh?
Yes, you held a mortgage on several of his enterprises.
Oh, that Walter Vernon. Hey, he was kind of a nice guy. Who'd want to kill him?
We believe a man by the name of Brad Butler killed him. But we don't believe he's the man who wanted him killed.
Who's Brad Butler?
He might be another business acquaintance of yours. He's a hitman, a professional killer. He was acquitted of a murder charge by a jury of which Walter Vernon was foreman.
Why would he kill a guy who helped acquit him?
Vernon was bribed to bring in that acquittal. And I think you did the bribing.
you legal beagles, you kill me. Always deducting something whether it needs it or not.
My suspicion is based on more than deduction. We've got some hard evidence.
Oh, proof?
Yeah, we'll have the proof when we pick up the man who dumped Vernon's body in Fairview Park. You see, we know the person who did that also shot a policeman. The officer undoubtedly surprised him in the act.
Deducting again, eh?
Not entirely. The bullets that killed Vernon came from the same gun that wounded the officer.
Oh, was he badly wounded?
He's in the city hospital right now. The doctor tells us he should be well enough by tomorrow to be questioned. Well, I've got a crowded schedule today, so I've got to go. I'll contact you again as soon as we get the policeman's story.
Oh, I'm sorry you have to leave. You make the business of deducting sound very interesting.
It should be more interesting to you tomorrow. Goodbye, Mr. Reno.
If you get the policeman's story, you son of a... Peggy, get me Brad Butler on the phone right away.
When we tell you Gold Formula Breck is the only leading shampoo that isn't mostly detergent, we're not putting you on. But because so many people have written to thank us for Breck, we decided to put some of them on. Patty Bunker of Piscataway, New Jersey, you're on.
Dear Breck, I love your Breck shampoo for oily hair. It really works. Shampoos are in competition, so it probably feels good to know your product is so good.
Gold Formula Breck. It has far less detergent, far more natural ingredients than any leading shampoo. And that's no put-on. And here's something else that's no put-on. Right now, the Breck people have a very special offer for you. Because right now, it's Breck season. The sun and wind and water season when you depend on Breck protection for your hair. So to help you stock up, Breck will give you a $2 refund when you buy any 3 different Breck products. For details on how to get your $2 refund, just look for the colorful Breck season display at participating stores. There you'll find everything you need to keep your hair looking great, all Breck season long. Offer void where prohibited by law.
I know honesty is supposed to be the best policy, but when you're dealing with the likes of Bill Reno, well, let's put it this way. I told him the officer had been wounded, but I purposely forgot to say fatally. I watched his face as I told him the officer would be able to talk the following day, and caught the merest twitch of an eyelid. I was sure I knew his next move and set the trap for him. With a newspaper concealing my face, I watched from behind the 4th floor nurse's desk at City Hospital. 2 detectives, each wearing a doctor's smock with a stethoscope dangling from a pocket, were waiting. One was at the fire escape window at the end of the hall beyond the dead officer's room. The other was at the nurse's desk pretending to be busy with reports. I called to the detective nearest me. Hey, Lou, here comes Brad Butler. Signal your partner.
Right. He heard me.
Now, you lousy pig, now you can have a nice long rest.
Police officers, hold it. Drop that knife, Butler. All right, now turn around.
Why, you...
Now frisk him, Mike. What do you know? This guy came well equipped. Not only a switchblade, but a 38.
What did you expect? Shotguns?
No, Butler, we expected a 38. And when the boys at the lab fire it into the water barrel, we know damn well the bullet markings will be exactly like those that killed Vernon and the police officer.
Get your hands off of me!
Take it easy.
I want my lawyer, and I want him fast. Lay off, I said!
Butler, you amaze me. I thought you got all that venom out of your system when you stabbed those nice plump pillows we wrapped up in the blankets for you.
That's what I think of you.
Better save your spit, Butler. You've got a long, dry spell ahead of you. Put the cuffs on him, boys.
Aren't you glad? Aren't you glad for things that make a happy day? Aren't you glad? Aren't you glad you found the love to grow and stay? Aren't you glad that we're pulling together? Aren't you glad that we're feeling free? Aren't you glad? 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 Aren't you glad just to be? Aren't you glad? Aren't you glad for feeling cool and clean all day? Aren't you glad? you glad you've done your best to stay that way? Aren't you glad? Glad we're getting together. Aren't you glad? Glad when we both smile. Aren't you glad? Do you dial? Aren't you glad? Do you dial? Aren't you glad? Aren't you glad? Do you dial? Aren't you glad?
I'm Rod Serling. Close your eyes, exercise your imagination, and join us again on our next presentation of The Zero Hour.
Villainous Verdict is a radio drama adapted by Glenn Hall Taylor. Dick Sargent was heard as Milho Dresden. Featured in the cast were Jim Bowles, Gene Gillespie, Peter Leeds, and Mike Ray. Zero Hour, created by J.M. Collis, directed by Don Hills, is produced in Hollywood for the Mutual Broadcasting System by Radio Productions Incorporated. Music is composed and conducted by Stanley D. Hoffman. Rochelle Sherman, associate producer. This has been a presentation of the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Tired of the everyday routine? Ever dream of a life of romantic adventure? Want to get away from it all?
We offer you Escape. Escape, designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure. Escape, brought to you by your Richfield gasoline dealer and the Richfield Oil Corporation of New York. Marketers of Richfield gasolines with Xylene, Rich Lube all-weather motor oil, and other famous petroleum products. Look for the Richfield Eagle on the cream and blue pumps.
Tonight, we escape to an old-time whaling ship in the Pacific, and the story of the desperation and murderous violence of the men who sailed her, as Bud Nelson tells it in his exciting tale, Yellow Wake.
Panama. Great chests of gold. The end of Sanford's rainbow. Stupid Sanford. Whiskey loose Sanford. And he put it right in my hand. Aye, his boast of an ancient book and a chart of buried treasure reeked of whiskey, till he flashed that poke of pieces of 8 in the San Francisco saloon, and I took care of the rest. There was no time before I was walking up the gangplank of his ship, the whaling vessel Congo Queen, knocking on the door of the captain's cabin.
Who's there?
Captain Thixton?
Aye. What is this? Fine watch I have that lets strangers board without challenge.
Maybe your anchor watch is a little loose, Captain, but I'll tighten it. My name's Love. Jonas Love.
Love, is it? What's your business aboard?
I'm your new first mate.
Where's Sanford?
He won't be coming back.
Sanford jumped ship? I don't believe it.
Jumping for dead, Captain. Shot, sir. Shot in a brawl.
Aye, whiskey, no doubt. I'd warned him. It had to happen someday. You were a friend?
For a time. Whiskey makes all men friends. Or enemies. I shot him.
You shot him? You shoot my mate and you got the sand to come here telling me about it?
I shot him in the smoke of his own gun, Captain. In San Francisco, that's a fair contest. I want his job.
You want his job, eh? You kill a man and ask for his job. What sort do you take me for that I'd take you on in the light of what you tell me?
For an intelligent man, Captain. One who won't pass up a chance to take on a better man than Sanford. You won't find another qualified mate on the California coast.
You got a good deal of talk, Mr. Love, but talk don't run a whaler.
A ship's a ship, sir, whether she runs whale oil or slaves.
Well, now you want to change the diggings. Where's your papers?
Papers don't run a vessel anymore in talk. Here, you'll find I speak the truth.
Well, maybe we can come to terms. Where's your gear?
Sanford won't need his.
What? Mr. Love, you've gotten on common gall. You kill a man, ask for his job, and now you take his very worldly possessions. I scarce think you'd stop at his wife.
Did he have one?
Well, it's a fair thing he didn't. You're a heartless man, Mr. Love, and I don't admire you for it. But it takes a heartless man to run this crew. I dare say there's worse ones on board. Get your men in hand, Mr. Love. We sail in half the hour. South's the course.
All hands on deck. Bear a hand below there. Starboard watch, man the captain. Port, stand by to make sail. Lively now, men. Make
The Congo Queen was 300 tons between her jibs and her spanker and fleece in the teeth of the wind. A three-masted ship with canvas 5 high and the smell of her trade and her wood. I beat her to windward, cleared the bay, turned her south, and took a fresh wind over her stern, trimmed and sailing free for the end of Sanford's rainbow. Sanford. His berth was mine, the key to his sea chest hung from my neck. Secure inside his iron-bound chest was the proof of his drunken boast. Notes, more coins, green with age, a leather-bound book, and a parchment chart of Spanish legend. All I lacked was the name of the men who were in it with him, but I knew they'd show themselves soon enough. They'd be the ones who hated me most. Meantime, I had the whaling trade to learn, my life to guard against unknown men, and a new captain to please. I joined Captain Thixton at the wheel.
I've been expecting you, Mr. Love.
Aye, sir.
Belay the formality, man. Respect is not in your nature.
You're right, Captain. And wrong. What's our destination?
Well, you might as well know you're not just my first officer. You're a confessed killer, and this is the high seas. One false step, and you're my prisoner. The matter is closed.
Closed it is, but not locked, sir. Our destination, Captain.
You go as far as your behavior takes you. We, the Queen, and the rest of my crew hail New Bedford in time. First the Horn and the 60 latitudes, God willing.
60 latitudes, huh? Ice, then.
Aye, ice. But also whales, many and big. Sperm, blues, humpback. We should fill quick with luck. You'll see, Mr. Love. Secure the watch.
Aye, sir.
From now on, it's watch and watch, 4 and 4. Keep 'em moving smart. Tired men don't make trouble. That includes you, Mr. Love.
Watch and watch, 4 and 4 it is, sir. She was a tight ship under Thixton. Still, I added my bit to the squeeze. I drove the crew hard, made 'em hate my guts, and spit at my back. They left me alone, and that's what I wanted. Kept my cabin secure inside or out while I fit Sanford's plan with my own. Oh, how the fool could have waited, I'll never know. The cache of gold was described in his notes. He'd been to the site from the Caribbean side, yet he sailed halfway around the world because he needed 4 men. 4 men who were on board. 4 men who would kill to put hand to my book and my chart. Well, we were fast hauling south. Had to tempt them to show their hand. The bait was the book with some pages cut out, a false rolled chart, and an open hatch. We were in Mexican waters, sailing hard on the wind. I was in my hammock, a tired dog, and sleep was a fitful thing. Hold there! Hold in your tracks, you thieving ape! I groped like a fool for my pistol, and my man got away in the night. He'd come to open Sanford's chest. Next time, he'd come to kill. Another week passed while I studied the crew. 4 men and 30, all keeping their thoughts in their beards. Some were mean, some were meek, some mutinous, some too willing in their work. Under 4 of those beards were Sanford's men. Another 2 days, and Lady Luck sent me to my quarters. In the middle of the day, I needed to fill my pipe. Johnson, what brings you to my quarters?
Mr. Love, sir, I was just putting things in order.
I see. Now, come on. Get up on your feet and talk. Come on up. Now, what are you looking for, Johnson?
Well, like I say, I
What are
was
you
just...
hiding in your shirt?
Oh, it's just a book, sir.
Just a book it is, huh? Give it to me. Just a book for certain. And what else? What else in your shirt? A land chart of Panama, is it? You read maps, too, huh, Johnson?
I was just...
Save the lies, Johnson. You're looking for Sanford's secret.
No.
You might as well know that it's mine now. I know you were in it with Sanford.
In with Sanford, Mr. Love. I don't follow.
You will if you hope to make any good from Sanford's plan. Aye, you'll follow me, and the other three will, too.
Oh, you're talking in riddles, man.
Riddles, is it, huh? Oh, you took the bait good, Johnson. I've been expecting you to come prowling. I set the bait, and you took it. But it's wrong, Johnson. Here. Here's the pages that tell the story, Johnson. Read them.
I don't read, sir. Tannehill, he reads, sir.
I'll read it to you, but listen well. Peleg, Sanford, 1838. It says right here in his own handwriting. Now listen to this. The name of the book, Sir Francis Drake Revived. Calling upon this dull and effeminate age to follow his noble steps for gold and silver. Pretty thought, isn't it, Johnson?
Aye, it's a haunting story, I'm told. Tannehill was to read it to me on wages, sir.
Save the lies, Johnson. Just listen to this, where Sanford marked. Now listen. He keepeth 100 slaves at least in the mines, each slave being bound to bring in daily clear gain, all charges deducted, 3 pesos of gold for himself and 2 for his women. It goes on to say, Johnson, that the daily haul, daily, mind you, was 1,600 pounds sterling. Translated, that's roughly $50,000 every day.
Well.
Now listen. Which he keepeth in certain great chests, of 2 feet deep, 3 broad, and 4 long. Just think of it, Johnson. Caskets full of gold. Now, you were in with Sanford, Johnson. What does this mean to us?
Oh, to us, I don't understand, sir. It's just a tale to amuse. That's all I wanted, sir. The hours are long in the forecastle, sir.
That's enough of your simpering, Johnson. Now, who are the others? It's your boat crew, isn't it? Tannehill, Bigsby, and Alcott?
Why, you call their names with your dying breath.
Be sensible now, man. I'm willing to put in with you. You need a leader, and I need men. And I hold the map in the book. When you're ready to talk sense, fetch your men here. Now, shove off.
Hi, Mr. Love. I'll shove off.
And Johnson, I'll kill the man on sight I catch near my quarters. Is that clear?
Aye, Mr. Love. We know killing ourselves. You may not see the light of another day.
Motorists, do you realize how many practical improvements science has given you for your car? For example, you get better gasoline because scientific research discovered xylene. Xylene is one of the highest anti-knock components in gasoline history. Xylene gives new high anti-knock qualities, new flashing power to gasoline. But here's the big news. Today, every gallon of Richfield gasoline contains xylene. Let me repeat that. Every gallon of Richfield gasoline contains xylene. Xylene for split-second pickup in traffic, for smooth, knockless power all the time. Moreover, your Richfield dealer offers you a choice of 2 great Richfield gasolines, both containing xylene. Get Richfield High Octane at regular price for the average motor, or Richfield Ethyl for best results in the highest compression motors. Each is a champion in its class. Stop where you see the Richfield Eagle on the cream and blue pumps. Get Richfield gasoline with xylene. And now we return you to Escape.
I let Johnson go because I needed him. I needed his men to be my crew, to sail a ship, to fight a jungle, to move a mine. I thought I could wait till they came to me, but the devil's bait is a gilded hook. When it catches your flesh, you can't shake it loose. So I read and reread and traced and retraced in my mind, and it grew and it grew and it grew, and it said, gold. Well, we were south of Mexico, and time was growing short. I went to Johnson on deck and took a desperate move. Johnson?
Aye, sir.
This is your last chance. Show up tonight with your men, or I pick my own and leave you out.
Now, don't be a fool. You'll kill it for all of us.
All but me, Johnson.
Well, I'll take you in if it's all right with my crew, my men.
Your crew, huh? Your boat crew. Just as I thought. Do I use yours or get my own?
We'll talk it out.
I'm losing my patience, Johnson. Bring your men to my cabin at 8 bells, or I get my own.
If the men agree, we'll be there at 8 bells.
It was a long chance, but it worked. And at 8 bells, they came to my cabin. Johnson, Tannehill, Bigsby, and Alcott.
Here we are, Mr. Love.
Come in. Keep quiet.
You hear me?
All right, belay the talk. Now gather on the charts. Now, there's one point I want clear. I'm giving orders, and they're not going to be mislaid. I understand, nobody else. Any man who doesn't like it can talk up now.
Mr. Love, we're taking you in.
You're wrong, Johnson. As Sanford's, legal heir, I've got 9 points of the law right here on this table, this map, and this book, and the know-how.
He's right. Stow the gripes, Johnson. We need a man with learning. How about it, men?
All right, that's settled. Understand, Johnson? All right, close in on this chart. I'll show you where Sanford was wrong. Now, here, right here, was our position at the noon sight. We're approximately 12 degrees, 30 minutes north by 82 degrees, 40 minutes west. See where that puts us? Not over 4 degrees off the coast of Panama, you see?
Aye, man, but you still got to round the horn.
The maps from the other side.
Sure, the Spanish chart shows a bearing from the Caribbean side, but look, carry that bearing on across Panama into the Pacific. Now look where we are.
Oh, we ain't a day
Well, then
away.
we don't have to round the horn.
Sanford never thought of that.
No, we don't have to go through with any whaling. Look, between these two mountains is a saddle. That's the mine. The bulk of the treasure is shown on the Spaniards' map right here, at the highest point in this defile.
Boy, that ain't a day's march overland.
Right. We can forget whaling. We don't have to round the horn, and this side fits my plan much better.
What is your plan about the boats and all?
Boats be hanged. I say, take the ship.
What are you talking about, man?
Mutiny?
Call it what you want. This half of the world won't be a healthy place for any of us. I say, take the ship, get the gold, and head southeast. Lands, big lands, new lands, and gold talks in any of them.
You got a good opinion of yourself, Love. We're 5 against 25. 26, counting the captain. We can't take ship.
You're wrong, Johnson. You forget we're whalesmen. We've seen whales every day lately. The order was given, 5 boats out after whales would take care of 25 men.
The captain won't take whale till we're south of the Horn. He'll never give the order.
That's the first time you've been right, Johnson. He won't give the order, but I will. 5 boats out, take care of 25 men, and I'll see that it's none of us. 5 boats with salt in their water breakers, and no ship to come home to. Do you follow me? The current will take him to sea. From there on, it's Davy Jones' worry. We get the gold, head south, scuttle the Queen, and as far as everybody knows, all hands are lost. Then it's every man to his own pleasure, with plenty of gold to buy it.
I say we got the right man to lead us.
My all's in with him.
He is a smart one.
Before another night falls, men will have us a ship. In a week, we'll have gold for ballast, enough to buy us a kingdom. Now break it up quiet and mind your actions. As far as Thixton's concerned, there's nothing changed. And I'll still flog the man that fouls an order. Now lay down to quarters, sharp and quiet. I'll pass the word when the time comes. All we need is a whale, men. 1 whale and the ship is ours. It was a neat plan and it carried fair. The watch changed. Day broke gray. Johnson was at the helm. Bigsby stood lookout high in the fort of gallant yards, all on orders of Jonas Love. Captain Thixton was lashed in his bunk. I saved him to kill him with the loss of his ship. The proud Captain Thixton, a prisoner of Captain Love. For now, we were whalesmen in search of a whale, any whale. It was watch and wait and watch.
Lay to the helm. Aye, sir. Bring her up. Up. And the board. Smartly now. Bear a hand. Clear on the port side. Roar away. Have it clear. Roar away.
Oh, clockwork, Love. That's what it is. I've got to hand it to you.
Did you tend to my orders, Johnson, about the water breakers?
And I'd like to see the face of the first thirsty man. I gave 'em side meat, too. Good salt hog side to whet their thirst.
They won't last 2 weeks. If they're picked up before, it won't make any difference to us.
All we need is a Jolly Roger from our Royal Yards, Love.
Not quite, Johnson. Thixton's still with us. Tannehill.
Aye, sir. Carried pair, sir.
You got your knife, Tannehill. Thixton's tied in his cabin. Make it fast and sure.
Aye, sir. Fast and sure it is.
Do I bring her about, Love?
You'll bring her about when I tell you to, Johnson, and you'll belay the mister when I tell you to, not before. Is that understood?
Aye.
Well, that's it. Bring her about, Johnson. East for south, steady as you go.
Our next step is Panama, man. Golden Panama.
It'll pay you to know, love. Now all our stations is equal. It's 4-1 against you, and all of us feels the same.
Johnson, it'll pay you to know that the man who crosses me cuts those odds by 1. Now fill out on your course.
The wind took us east and the current went west, carrying before it the crew of the Queen. 5 drifting whaleboats of hopeless men lay at our stern. Our bow, like a finger, points to fortune's door, Panama. A land green-black with tropic growth and our treasure cradled in a mountain nest on our backbone. I put into fair anchorage in the lee of a point, paid out the hook and called my men. We ride out tonight here in this bay, men. Well, there she is, right up the mountain. The low point between those two peaks.
We still some daylight, love. I say move now.
You'll do no saying, Johnson. We move now right enough, but we'll do it on board. We provision the whaleboat for 10 days.
10 days? Why, it scarce looks a league.
That it does, Tannehill, but it's a stormy course. That's jungle growth. We'll have to fight it all the way to the top. And we'll have no more crossing. Bigsby, look at provisions. Load the whaleboat. Tannehill and Alcott, break out the forge and fashion knives from flensing tools. Make 'em short in the handle and keen on the edge. You 3 men staying aboard. You'll take up the work till me and Johnson cast off. We'll need our strength.
Us staying aboard?
You take us for fools?
You'll stay aboard. That's an order. The man who thinks different, step up and speak.
You got the map, Mr. Love. The men don't like it that way. Well, what say you, men?
It ain't fair.
What's to keep you from going straight out the other side?
Yes, how do we know you're coming back?
Hold it. Aye, I've got the map. You're right. It's not fair that one man should have it. Tannehill, give me your knife.
Aye, sir.
You men don't trust me. You do trust Johnson. That's very well. So, here, Johnson. Half for you, half for me. Now, does that satisfy you?
Aye.
Aye. Johnson's for us, fair enough. But you'd better come back. We'll follow you to the gates of hell if you don't.
It's fools who'd leave a ship unmanned. You'll get your share when we open the trail, Johnson and me. All right, now, turn to. Bear a hand. There's a fortune waiting the dawn. The fools. Simple, arrogant fools. And Johnson, too. Content with a worthless half of a map. Landmarks in plain sight, the last and main bearing stowed safe in my head. Every bearing and distance to the final pace memorized from 1,000 readings. Now to find the starting point. The rock with a face in Sanford's notes. Certain great chests of 2 feet deep, 3 broad, and 4 long. Ponderous heavy. A wall of jungle to cut. I needed these fools. Even Johnson, for a time. Jungle. Lush, rich, gentle. It's a trap, a slimy, stinking, creeping green trap. Hold up, Johnson. Fetch up the water. The bugs, the heat, green snare. Take the lead, Johnson. No man can keep this up.
I say belay it and rest. We need a strength.
Move on, Johnson. We've hacked half a day and we're not a cable's length from the sea. Take the lead.
We'll not last if we hold this pace. Look at the blasted insects. They hang in clouds. I say make camp. Likely tomorrow we'll get our second wind.
We'll get it on the move, Johnson. There's still 3 hours of day. Now take the lead and swing that knife. For 5 killing days, it was hack, slash, hack. Move up the gear, creep on at a tortoise pace. The 6th day, the mountain fanned out on our course, and we rose above that green wall of jungle, and we could see the sea. The masts of the Queen waved gently, not 4 leagues down the slope. The sea breeze caught us and cooled our brow. The jungle's web thinned, and we rested. We ate and we smoked.
We've passed the worst of it.
Another day at the most, Johnson.
No more.
You look bad, Johnson. Too much for you?
There's a powerful gripe in my back.
Don't be feeling sorry for yourself. I don't feel schooner rig myself. Now take up your gear.
No.
We're moving on.
I can't move on.
You want gold, don't you, Johnson? Fall and you rot in your tracks. There's more for the rest of us. Now move out.
No.
Nothing's stopping me now.
The great bearded Johnson with the strength of 2 men. He spent his strength with harboring hate, and he fell to blithering. His big, bloody eyes cast up the trail. Useless he was. Weak and out of his mind.
Chop the lines. She's sounding. She's sounding.
What is it, Johnson? You're drooling black.
She'd get 1,000 barrels if it drops, sir. Sperm whale. I've seen it with my own 2 eyes.
Johnson, do you know me, man?
Aye, Captain Thixton.
You're through, Johnson. I'm moving on. The rock's in sight. I've no time for you now. That's due south 50 paces to such a point as... But... There! It's the cave! Johnson's the cave! Sanford's cave, Johnson! My cave! I found it! It's here. Great chests of gold. Johnson! We found it! Chests of it, Johnson! Look, Johnson. I brought back a handful. Gold. Johnson, look, Lord of mercy. Dead he is. Dead of the fever. And yellow as gold. His face, his hands, all yellow like gold. Oh, my hands. No, it's not the blight like Johnson. It's just gold dust. It'll wash off. It's not the blight. My hands, my limbs, it don't wash off. No! It's the devil's bait on a gilded hook. This fever's the devil's breath. I can feel it now, boiling out my bile and painting me gold. It'll cook out my soul and leave me poor. This fever, this devil's yellow blight.
The good old summertime may be fun for you, but it's no picnic for your car. Hot summer weather and gritty dust can take your car off the road right into the repair shop. That's why it's important to make sure now that your car is safely lubricated. Get protection against wear and breakdown with Richfield All-Point Safety Service. The Richfield gasoline dealer will give your car a careful all-point lubrication job using Rich Lube lithium lubricant, the new premium lubricant that stands up under the toughest use, that wears like iron. Then he'll change your oil to fresh Rich Lube all-weather motor oil, the oil that cleans your motor as it lubricates. And finally, the Richfield dealer will give your car a careful safety check of all the likely trouble spots. So why take chances? Get Richfield All-Point Safety Service from the Richfield gasoline dealer tomorrow. Stop where you see the Richfield Eagle on the cream and blue pumps. Escape was produced and directed by William N. Robson, and tonight has presented Yellow Wake by Bud Nelson. Featured in tonight's cast were Bill Conrad as Love, John Hoyt as Sanford, John Daner as Johnson, Will Gear as Thixton. Also heard were Paul Free, Stacey Harris, Harry Bartell, and George Offerman, Jr. Special music arranged and played by Ivan Ditmars. Next week.
You're in India, lying in bed at night, when suddenly a crate, the most deadly poisonous snake in the world, crawls into bed with you, the slightest movement will bring you to a horrible death from which there is no escape.
Next week at this time, the Richfield Oil Corporation of New York invites you to escape with an unforgettable story of a night of terror in Bombay, as Roald Dahl tells it in his story, Poison. Be listening. Goodbye, then, until this same time next week, when once again we offer you Escape. Tom Hanlon speaking over CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.